This ain't no Pawn Stars, honey. This is Detroit. That line, barked by a furious customer while being escorted out by security, perfectly sums up what made Hardcore Pawn so special, and so completely unhinged. Because for a brief, glorious moment, Hardcore Pawn was the most chaotic thing on TV. A reality show that looked like it was filmed with a taser in one hand and a cease and desist letter in the other.
Don't touch. Come on. Let's go. Really?
It was raw, unpredictable, and gloriously trashy. No history lessons, no carefully staged deals, just pure human meltdown, served daily at American Jewelry and Loan. Les Gold wasn't just a pawnbroker. He was a middle-aged lion tamer in a zoo of desperation. His daughter Ashley, sharp-tongued and unbothered. His son Seth, the guy you yell at in Monopoly for trying to mortgage everything. But together, they were TV dynamite. People didn't tune in for the items. They tuned in for the fights. The yelling, the threats, the security guards always hovering just out of frame.
Get the out of my store. Don't touch it. It's time to go.
It wasn't reality TV, it was street theater with fluorescent lighting. And for a while, it was kind of perfect. Before it was a circus with security guards, Hardcore Pawn was just a pawn shop. Specifically, American Jewelry and Loan, nestled in Detroit, Michigan. A city where hustle isn't a lifestyle, it's a survival tactic. Les Gold opened the place in 1978, long before HD cameras and reality TV came sniffing around.
For their 8-day stay, Chesden and Bex's behavior will be subject to the Kimbrough's 1,000-word contract.
He was third-generation pawnbroker, which sounds like a family curse more than a legacy. And he ran the kind of business where someone might pawn a stereo, argue about its value, and come back 2 hours later to yell at you for disrespecting their vibes. But Les knew how to work a room. He had the kind of charisma that could either sell you a Rolex or convince you to pay more for a fake one. Behind the scenes, Seth Gold, Les's quieter, numbers-obsessed son, was already plotting how to turn this whole mess into a marketing machine. He wasn't there to yell. He was there to monetize the yelling. And in the early 2000s, as reality TV started getting bolder, dumber, producers took one look at Les and thought, yeah, this guy, he screams ratings. True TV, which at the time was still in its we swear we're not just reruns of Cops era, saw an opportunity.
A day $6.50.
I can't give it to you. I'm sorry.
With Pawn Stars becoming a hit over on the History Channel, they wanted their own version. But grittier, louder, more Detroit. Where Pawn Stars gave you trivia about 16th century rifles, Hardcore Pawn gave you screaming over fake Gucci bags and security tossing people out like it was the Middle Ages. True TV didn't want polished. They wanted please don't sue us energy. And Les Gold, he delivered. Technically, it started back in 2009 with a couple of test episodes. But it wasn't until August 2010 that the show truly launched. Over 2 million people tuned in, making it the most watched premiere in True TV history. Which, let's be honest, was kind of like being valedictorian at clown college, but still impressive. Right from the start, it was clear. This wasn't your grandpa's pawn shop show. This wasn't about antique swords and nerds explaining coin history.
I'm good. I'm Les. Tim. So what brings you around here?
Authentic graveyard dirt.
This was a show where someone tried to trade a live snake for a microwave, where arguments escalated faster than a Reddit thread about pineapple on pizza. And America ate it up. The first episode pulled in more than 2 million viewers, a record for True TV. Les became a minor celebrity. The store became a tourist attraction. Suddenly, American Jewelry and Loan wasn't just a pawn shop. It was Disneyland for dysfunctional capitalism. Tourists from Italy to India lined up, hoping Ashley would roast them in person. People flew to Detroit voluntarily just to get yelled at by Ashley or ignored by Seth. It was beautiful chaos. A pawn shop turned gladiator arena. True TV pushed the idea that this wasn't staged. No actors, no antiques, just unfiltered rage and regrettable tattoos, captured in glorious HD. Real customers, real arguments, real consequences. Or at least that's how it felt. It wasn't prestige TV, it was the opposite. It was junk food for the soul. And we kept coming back for another hit. Because deep down, watching someone throw a chair over a $20 DVD player made us feel like maybe our own lives weren't that messy after all.
Not listening to me.
I am hearing you, but you're not listening to me.
But here's the thing about reality TV. Once the cameras show up, real doesn't stick around for long. At first, the drama felt organic, like, wow, people really do scream over $5 calculators. But somewhere between season 2 and why is this man wearing sunglasses indoors while threatening to fight Ashley? something started to feel off. You know that moment when your favorite meme gets turned into a brand campaign and suddenly it's not funny anymore? That's what happened to Hardcore Pawn. The fights got louder, the insults got weirder, and the acting? Suspiciously better. Customers stormed in like they were auditioning for WWE, not trying to hawk a toaster. Suddenly, every episode hit the same beats. Someone yells, Ashley yells louder, Seth makes a smug comment, less sighs, and security lumbers in like it's the Hunger Games of broken electronics.
Damn right. Hold on, my man. I'll take this whole wreck. What? This ain't this.
One Reddit thread literally mapped out the Hardcore Pawn formula. Step 1, shaky cam on angry customer. Step 2, Ashley overreacts. Step 3, Seth tries to be clever. Step 4, security stares blankly. Step 5, commercial break. That's not a show, that's a ritual. The magic? Slipping fast. Let's be real, no pawn shop has that much chaos per hour. In any normal business, that much yelling would trigger an HR intervention before lunch. But not in Hardcore Pawn land. There, conflict was the product. And that conflict? It often had a familiar face. Critics started pointing out how the show's most explosive scenes always seemed to feature the same kind of customer, loud, angry, and visibly struggling, while the calm, reasonable voices were almost always wearing Rolexes behind the counter. Then came the questions. Reddit lit up with suspicion. YouTube exploded with titles like Hardcore Pawn is faker than my ex's promises. People dissected episodes like they were analyzing JFK footage. See that guy? He hesitates before throwing the chair. Classic amateur improv. It was like CSI, True TV edition. Even a YouTuber who appeared on the show admitted his segment was real, but saw another guy being coached on what to say.
To speak with somebody else because you irritate me flat out.
That's like ordering authentic chaos and realizing the chef used frozen drama nuggets. Patterns emerged. Repeat customers. Actors reappearing in different wigs. Security guards reacting just a little too slowly, like they were waiting for their cue. The show's biggest strength, chaotic authenticity, had become its biggest liability. Even the family dynamic cracked. Seth morphed into a smug caricature. Ashley became less tough as nails and more human eye roll. And Les looked tired, like a man forced to host a circus he no longer believed in. Comments under every clip sounded the same. Ashley needs therapy. Seth thinks he's better than everyone. Les is one meltdown away from moving to a cabin in the woods. Hardcore Pawn wasn't a show anymore. It was a warning sign. Even staff started disappearing. Fan favorites like Rich and Big Joe were suddenly gone. No farewell, no context, just poof.
You, get out of the store!
Really?
Really?
Replaced by new faces who looked like they'd been pulled from a Craigslist ad for pawn shop extras. The customers didn't help. By season 4, it was a rotating door of weird. One guy tried to pawn a gold-plated toilet seat, seriously. Another came in with nothing but bondage gear. It didn't feel like Detroit anymore. It felt like a rejected sketch from SNL Pawn Shop Edition. Every reality show has that moment. The point where it stops evolving and starts eating itself. For Hardcore Pawn, that moment arrived wrapped in chaos and coated in cringe. Enter the infamous Big Joe theft scandal. By now, familiar faces were vanishing. Rich left quietly, too quietly, after reported behind-the-scenes tension. But Big Joe, his expulsion was headline-worthy. The longtime head of security was caught pocketing scrap gold during a sting operation set up by store staff. He was confronted on camera, denied it, and promptly fired in front of a national audience.
You go this way. This is my loyal employee.
A scene that felt like a reality TV true crime crossover. One moment, he was the gentle giant tossing troublemakers. The next, he was the trouble. Escorted out like just another angry customer. Fans were stunned, Reddit exploded, and for a second, it seemed Hardcore Pawn accidentally felt real again, but in the worst possible way. New staff members showed up with all the charisma of NPCs in a pawn shop video game. To stay relevant, the show went full desperation mode.
Give me a You gave me a slip with a no.
Show me the slip. I'll give it to you.
They featured bizarre items that verifiably aired, prosthetic leg and bondage gear. Bizarre, yes, but produced under the flag of authenticity. Fans exploited clips on YouTube, Reddit, and TikTok, dissecting every frame, turning the show into a meme. Titles like Hardcore Pawn is Fake or Top 10 Fakest Moments racked up millions of views. Dramatic reenactments mocked its chaotic formula. Even longtime viewers stopped watching for the drama. They watched for the irony. Hardcore Pawn had become a parody of itself, and the worst part? No one involved seemed to care anymore. Les looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. Ashley recycled the same 5 comebacks. Seth blinked through scenes like a man buffering in real life. They weren't characters, they were leftovers. Then, off camera, Ashley was done. After the final season wrapped, she left the pawn shop and reality TV entirely. She later said the constant stress and endless repetition were taking a serious toll on her health. Even the show's Chaos Queen had reached her limit.
So 6.5 years ago, I stepped away and I started a line called Pawn Chick Shopping.
And then one day, it was just gone. No finale, no farewell special, not even a lazy clip show. True TV just ghosted the entire franchise like a bad Tinder date. New episodes stopped, no one asked why. There was a final episode, sure, but no one knew it was final. No send-off, no closure, just silence. Even the network seemed over it. True TV rebranded itself around 2014. No more pawn shop rage, just prank shows and comedy.
It's not one of my clothes. I want to get in, like, get it home. You know, you clean. You know how it is when you get in.
Hardcore Pawn didn't get canceled. It got quietly left behind like a forgotten TV remote, still technically working, but no one wants to touch it. By the time Hardcore Pawn limped into its later seasons, it had turned into the TV equivalent of a microwaved Big Mac. Technically the same thing, but soggy, bland, and full of regret. The chaos didn't feel raw anymore. It felt choreographed. The so-called customers came in delivering performances like they'd just finished a 2-week improv course at the local community center.
Oh, no, this is bull. You see that big old line? How about you go wait in that line?
One guy tried to sell a snowmobile in the middle of summer, indoors. No explanation, just vibes. And the fights? Oh, God, the fights. They weren't even arguments anymore, just noise. Everyone screamed. No one listened. Every episode had to end with someone getting escorted out like True TV had a secret deal with a security company. It wasn't tension, it was a tantrum with lighting. Editing resorted to jarring jump cuts and overdone zoom-ins, all to intoxicate the viewer into chaos. Seth's entire personality became reaction shots. Confused blinking, smug blinking, disappointed blinking, a whole spectrum of silence. No one cared about the items anymore. The negotiations became filler. It was a conflict machine, a screaming contest dressed as a business.
Everything's slower than fun, and it's starting to make me insane.
There was no evolution, no narrative, no payoff, just recycled drama in a loop so tight it could be copy-pasted. Les didn't learn. Ashley didn't change. Seth didn't grow, unless becoming more punchable counts. It was a show stuck in time, like a rerun that didn't know it was over. Reality TV moved on. True TV pivoted to pranks, stunts, and relatable comedy. Pawn shows were the skinny jeans of cable. Suddenly, no one would admit they ever liked them. It was a 9-season infomercial with the emotional depth of a toaster warranty. Les got the exposure. Seth got the foot traffic. And when the cameras vanished, business just kept going, like the show had been a fever dream we all imagined together. So, can Hardcore Pawn be saved? Well, let's put it this way. If you walk into a pawn shop and all they have left is a broken promise, a fake Rolex, and a half-hearted brawl in aisle 3, maybe it's time to close up shop. The show tried to capture something real. Detroit grit, street-level economics, human desperation, and for a little while it did.
You're doing good. How about you?
I was wondering if you guys would be interested in something like this.
But reality TV doesn't like reality. It likes reactions. So the real got swapped for the ridiculous. The raw got replaced by routine. And the tension? Scripted smoother than Seth's forehead in HD. Could it come back? Sure. Everything comes back. We're one reboot away from Hardcore Pawn, Gen Z edition, where influencers try to pawn NFTs and someone cries over a ring light. But would it be good? That's a different story. Because some things don't need to be revived. They just need to be remembered. In all their messy, chaotic, brilliantly trashy glory. So here's to the good years. The screaming, the awkward edits, the glorious confusion. And to Les Gold, Detroit's most intense negotiator, whose biggest legacy might be that he made yelling, "I'm not giving you $20 for that," into a cultural moment. And if you made it this far, congratulations. You've officially pawned 20 minutes of your life for nothing but entertainment. But hey, that's more than most reality TV gives you. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Unlike Hardcore Pawn, this channel won't pretend it's real. But at least it won't scream at you for trying to trade in a broken toaster.